Hello, my couture crafters. It is a new year. Happy New Year to everybody. I am back at it. I took a little break. The holidays need to be quiet and time for family and reflection and goal setting, blah, 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 blah. I was just tired, so I took a little break. And as you can see, I have moved all of my sewing stuff into my mother's home, into her craft room. It's the takeover. I just couldn't I just couldn't quilt comfortably. I couldn't sew comfortably because in my house I'm sitting toward a wall and it just wasn't working. But now that I have moved into her sewing room, I am just as happy as a fat cat. I am just able to thrive in this room, believe it or not, which probably sounds crazy, but space is important. And this room is super small, but it's much larger than the space that I have. So yay for that. This camera angle is weird. I realize that I'm out of the frame, but you get the point. I'm cutting 5-inch fabric squares. So basically I'm making my own charm pack. Go me. So again, cutting 5 by 5 squares out of this fabric. I got this fabric from Sew Together Stitching Lounge, and I'm in love with it. So my first project was a little bean bag. My second project is the pad that my hand is resting on right here. And this one here is my third project. And this is a sewing machine cover. And the reason why I chose it is because it deals with piecing, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm introducing myself to piecing. And I love it. This right here makes me want to cut up some more squares and sew them together for no reason at all. I could do a whole quilt of just little 5-inch squares or a charm pack or whatever. You see these tweezers? Don't buy these from Amazon. They're not strong. They don't hold as well as they should. The yellow ones that I use for paper crafting, I need another pair like that. And I think those are Tweezer B. And that I need those. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have long nails. I'm not going to cut my nails. And I need to figure out all the tools that I need to make my sewing experience possible. Because I have run into quite a few issues sewing. I broke a nail. I've been getting my nails done for like 25, 30 years. And I broke a nail for like the first time ever. The sewing barb snapped it. So, yeah. Just got to figure some stuff out. Got to watch my fingernails and all the things. I think I was just putting together a stiletto right now because that helps too. So here I'm teaching myself to chain piece, and I put them too close together. So snipping them apart was not as easy as it should have been with some of them. But now I know better. And I'm just putting them together and sticking them in the machine and letting the machine do its work. I got a 1/4-inch foot on this machine that I got from Amazon, and I love it. That thing helps tremendously, especially with piecing. So after this, I'm going to make the Jelly Roll Race quilt, and I'm definitely going to need to use that foot. You see how some of them are super tight together and then some of them are looser? Yeah. So after I sewed those two together, then I just went ahead and put the pairs together and tossed them in a stack, and then I'm going to chain again like a big girl. Look at me chaining stuff together. Yay, go Mac, go Mac. So putting the sides together, right sides together, and putting them in the machine and doing the exact same thing over again. And instead of having 2, now we'll have 4. Love that stiletto. Need it. I need tweezers though. I was watching Mr. Domestic, and his favorite notions. I like to look at people's notions because I like tools. I like all the things to buy. And he was talking about 2 pair of tweezers, and I think they're basic gray tweezers. And I am going to definitely get a couple pair of those, and I think that'll be great. That will help. So here I am just sewing away again with that great 1/4-inch foot. And I think this is the last guy here. Maybe, maybe not. And we're just going away, zipping through. I love this. I really, really enjoyed this project. I learned so much. there are a lot of fails on here. There are a lot of fails. For one instance, this pattern I took from, I think it's like Papercraft Forever. I'm gonna have to link where I got this tutorial from YouTube. And as she's doing it, she's putting it together, she's saying, "Oh, this should fit any standard sewing machine." But she never actually gives her dimensions. She just uses 24 squares. And so I just used 24 squares. And at some point, I think I tested her side panel, and I think her side panel is 8 by 10. And I realized that side panel wasn't big enough for my machine, so I extended it. But what I didn't do was add another one or two sets of 5-inch squares. So I was asleep, and I woke up out of my sleep like something's not right. Yes, it's that serious. That's exactly how it happened. And I got up the next morning and went to my mom's house, and I looked at it and thought, this isn't going to work. So on my way to work, I was trying to figure out can I, how on earth can I make this work? Because I didn't want to redo that panel right there. How? So you'll never guess what I did. I made another set, and then I attached it with a zigzag stitch. So you'll see that at some point. I don't know if I showed myself doing it. These are the side panels. These are the ones that I decided I actually fixed the size, but it didn't dawn on me to fix the size of the basic panel. So basically you make 3 quilted pieces, and you're watching me quilt right here, which I love this way of quilting. Just this crosshatch argyle diamond pattern. I love it. If I was not in such a hurry to try new stuff, I would actually have thrown another line in between all of these. So instead of doing 2.5 inches, I probably would have done them about 1.5 inches apart. But I was too excited, and this was a little more difficult because the markings are hard to see. So I couldn't just use one pen for the black and one pen for that gingham, which is annoying. So I had to use white on one side and then a black friction pen on the other. If I were able to have just used one pen, I probably would have done it, but it was a little bit more work than I wanted to put in for a sewing machine cover. But I do enjoy quilting this way. It's so pretty to me. It looks like a real quilt when I see these. I just love it. And I love that it's kind of tufted. It just makes me happy. So I'm quilting with, right here I have an open toe foot. I changed out my presser feet so often for this project. And I love using those safety pins with the little Lego looking things that are attached to them. Those curved safety pins are everything. Basting this was a breeze. Loved it. Basting is fun. I don't know why. We'll see how much fun it is when I have a full-size quilt. I haven't figured out how I'm going to make that possible. I don't know. I've seen people who tape down their backing and then tape down their, what is that stuff called? The stuff that goes in between, which name escapes me right now. It's right next to me and I can't think of the name of it. The batting. So we'll see. Because my next project will be a full-size quilt. Again, we're going to the races with the Jelly Roll race. So this is just me doing some free motion quilting. No, right here is how I attached. So I made another sandwich of 5 by 5 squares in a strip. And then I just used a zigzag stitch to join the two together. And it totally worked. I am surprised as heck that it worked. And it doesn't bother me. It's not ugly or anything. See? It's not ugly, sort of. It's wrong, but hey, it came out kind of clean and it was cool. This, I used a walking foot. I never used my walking foot before, so this was a great time to try it. And I see the difference. I see how much easier the fabric feeds through. And this was me putting the side panel onto the larger panel finally. So I was going through 2 layers of batting and 4 layers of fabric, and I thought, let's see what the walking foot's all about. I like it. I don't like putting it on the machine though. Long nails and putting on a walking foot. The struggle was real. So before I tried to do binding, there is a method that I saw in Shabby Fabrics, and I really like it because you don't have to sew at a diagonal. But it failed me, and I didn't feel like it today, so I figured I would try it the way that everybody does it, and everybody else's doesn't fail. So why don't I just stick to what everybody else is doing and stop trying to reinvent wheels? So I went ahead and drew the diagonal line and then sewed down the line. And you know what? It worked. It absolutely worked. I did not fail with the binding. So this is me sewing on a diagonal with my open toe foot. I sew straight lines with an open toe foot pretty good when I'm tracing the lines. Do pretty good. Maybe that's my gift. You guys think I'm going to sew over that pen? Not I. I have yet to break a needle. I have yet to break thread. I'm very, very pleased with my progress. This project taught me so much. I even overlocked with my machine. I did an overlocking stitch on the open ends on the inside. What? Yeah. I used all the stitches and all the feet on this project. I was really going for it. If I'm going to learn, I am going to learn. So I'm cutting off the excess on that binding. Look at how crazy my nails look. I wanted my nails to look like a party because my birthday is on Monday, January the 7th. You see this iron? It's not mine. It's Mom's. It's in her craft room, and I see other people using it, and I knew that I wanted it, and I couldn't find it in purple. So annoyed. Amazon didn't have it. Nobody had it. And it turns out Mom has one. What? I said, Mom, I want your iron, and she laughed at me. She was like, you could use it. I was like, no, I want my own. She was like, I said, oh, she wasn't going to get it for me, right? I said, you know what? I want it for my birthday. Now she's got to get it for me, right? We'll see. But I want that iron. That sucker gets hot. And if you guys don't know, when you hit red fabric, this is something I knew from before. I don't know how I knew it before. I must have been watching something. It gets dark, but then it goes back to light. So don't freak out when you put your hot iron on some dark fabric and it changes colors. Dark purples, I think, do that, and reds do that. Maybe all the fabrics do it. Who knows? But yeah. So this is me. I did my little binding strip. Thank God. I will never use... Well, I'm not going to say I'll never use it, but I did not enjoy using pre-cut binding before. So I made my own. And you know what? It worked out really well. I put my I put my 1/4 inch foot on again, and it went over this really well. I didn't have any issues. And so I sewed the binding on. And then when I got to the point of joining the binding, this was a semi-fail. The lady whose tutorial I watched and tried to duplicate, she's able to open it up, stick a pin in, pull the other strip over to it, pinch it. She pinches the fabric, no measurement needed, nothing. And then she sticks the pin back in through both pieces of fabric. And then she takes it over to her sewing machine and she sews a straight line. And granted, it was not as easy as I wanted it to be, but I figured it out. That was me staring at the stitches that are available on this machine. And I chose to do a decorative stitch on the binding. And I fell in love. I don't think I'll ever do a regular binding. For what? I might hand bind one day, but maybe not. Look at my nails. Who's going to be pulling the thread and with the little needle and I don't know that I'll ever do that. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But this is so freaking cool to me. I love this decorative stitch. I love that she introduced that through this project. And it came out super cool. Look at how cool that is. That's cool to me. Now, of course, you see it on the other side, but look at how cool it looks. If you hit that sucker dead center, I like the stitch. And I like how that binding feels in my hands. It feels tight. It feels like it has a little substance to it. I'm pleased. And right there, I'm showing you how I joined it together. And that's the binding on both sides again. And this is the right side of it. And there we go. It's on the machine. Yay. And then I have a little bean bag to match that holds my cell phone. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me and going on this journey with me while I'm learning to sew and teaching myself to quilt. Again, look at that binding. I don't know what's up with me, but I just love it. Tell me what you think. Tell me where I went wrong. Tell me what I need to try. Thanks again. Bye-bye.